This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Welcome on to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason. Hey, I got a lot going for me here for the day today, so hopefully I can catch you up in all this hype, all this enthusiasm, all this excitement. Again, I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason. I do the morning shows here, and I'm the host of your First Alert Weather Breakdown. Me and CJ always tag team in this, but we're never really on at the same time. Maybe we got to do that one of these days. Get both of us back together here at the same time. That'd be cool. Maybe that's an idea for next week or the week after. We'll see. But I'll tell you, both of us love doing this. So I got a lot going for me here for the day today. We got Friday. That's cause for celebration enough, all right? Maybe that's like end of the story. No, it's not just that. We do have, what am I getting at? We do have cooler temperatures. That's another thing to look forward to. I'm also surviving on energy drink as well. That's number 3. So maybe that's, a little more enthusiasm is physically in my system, so to speak. And it's the weekend coming up. So, hey, 3-4 things to look forward to. And it's towards the end of my shift as well. Just the list goes on and on. It's great. You can add sunshine to that list. That's what we have out right now. But I'm going to give you a live update because, just so you know, we'll go into the local forecast here in just a moment. Let me show you the full rundown here for your Friday. First of all, thanks for popping in at 10:30. Where are my manners? Again, thank you very, very much. Every single time you guys continue to come on in. Here we have a cooler local forecast here for you to talk about over the next couple days. That is going to be great. We also have a regional weekend travel forecast for you in store for those of you traveling outside of the Arklatex. We'll give you details on that. Now, all right, before I kickstart the actual forecast in and of itself, let me give you an update. Just so you know, I was popping down on my phone, and obviously, phone notifications, random stuff. Usually I don't have my phone up, but it just happened. My phone just happened to be right down here. And I got a notification 5 seconds right before the countdown. It came from the National Weather Service. Just so you know, anytime the National Weather Service sends out any kind of information, any alerts, those kind of things, they immediately get sent right to my phone. So I'm like, why is the National Weather Service sending stuff out at 10:30 in the morning? Because usually they send stuff out, just so you know, at a typical basis, like early in the morning, start of the day, or the afternoon. Like leading, that's usually the 2 times they send out like watches, things for the day, alert-wise, so to speak. Let's see what they had here. They have a heat advisory. Oh. We'll take a look at that actually right now. Man, that's actually depressing because one of my big hype-up moments here for this morning, that's a heat advisory, by the way, in effect for today. National Weather Service just issued that as we popped on this podcast. So I'm actually going to start off and do this live and find the heat advisory graphic for you. Let's see where it is. There it is. I'll pop it in there, and I'm going to go over to my graphics here. There we go. That is the new heat advisory, and you can see. First of all, look at my subtitle, or it goes, "Not in effect today." Yay! No heat advisory. No. Of course. Again, this was just issued 5 minutes ago, which means the National Weather Service is already tracking on to looks like at least some hot conditions trying to stay around a portion of the Arklatex. So it looks like this is in effect for, we'll go ahead and name out all the parishes. Caddo, Bossier, Webster, Bienville, Natchitoches, pretty much all of our Northwest Louisiana parishes here that we cover here for the most part. And looks like a little portion of eastern Texas, too, including Sabine County. Looks like Shelby County is included, and also Nacogdoches County as well. This does not include any of the northern portions of the Arklatex at all. And just so you know, what they told me, this is in effect for 2 to 6 p.m. this afternoon. So literally just in effect for 4 hours. That's it. Just so you know, our usual heat advisory is in effect from like 10 a.m. like now until 7 p.m. That's either the heat advisory or the excessive heat warning that we've had since Sunday has been in effect for a span of 9 hours of the day. This is just in a span of 4 hours. So thankfully, Again, my big story this morning was that we didn't have the heat advisory back, but it looks like we do, unfortunately. So, darn. But the point is, we are going in the right and the more comfortable and the more cooler direction around the Arklatex. Feel free, also, if you're joining on YouTube as well, to give a shout out, give a chat here for the day today. Get some hype up for the weekend. Get some energy in. Anyways, let's get into the full local forecast, and then we take a commercial break, and then we'll go into the forecast for those of you actually actively traveling outside of the Arklatex here for this weekend. That'll be fantastic. Hey, I'm traveling out this weekend, so they'll be in tune for me as well. Live look at Shreveport, that's looking pretty good. Lots of sunshine. Texarkana, though, getting a lot more cloud cover here for the day today, and something I haven't even mentioned at all as a part of our local forecast. I know the big headline is, at least certainly for me, is the cool down. It's especially going to be felt this weekend. I would be shocked to see a heat advisory here tomorrow or Saturday, for that matter. Looks like they barely managed to kind of creep one into Friday, just barely into the southern half of the Arklatex, essentially. And again, as I just mentioned, that was only for a few hours of the peak of the afternoon, essentially. I'll be shocked to see it tomorrow and Saturday. But that's tomorrow and Sunday, excuse me. So that's kind of the biggest headline that I have for you, again, is that cool down. But we still have a lot to talk about with the rain. We do have a good amount of rain showers still lingering on for this afternoon and again for tomorrow as well. And looks like we're already maybe starting to form some of those storm coverages, or stormy showers, so to speak. Stormy showers. We're starting to form those storms and showers, whatever you want to call them. I don't know why I describe the showers as stormy. That's like saying, I can't even think of an example right now, but it's like the same thing. That was weird. Anyways, let's get into your weather headlines here for the day today. The main one, again, is cool weather and rain. That's the forecast pretty much here for the next 2 days. Now, as shown by the heat advisory, is it a cool day today? No, but it is cooler, certainly, than what we've had over the past 4 days. This is the coolest day of the work week by a good bit. And it's going to get even cooler here for the weekend, which is going to be grand. We completely clear out the rain by Sunday, so at least we keep one half of the weekend free of any rain. But again, just watch out between tonight and tomorrow. A few passing storms that could follow. So if you're looking for a best day to get out and around and not have to worry about the rain whatsoever, Sunday. Plan on Sunday. Unfortunately, you got to wait a little bit, but we save the best for last, you know. Next week, we're back to the summer heat. You know it's not going to be gone for long, and we're lucky enough to get this little relief kind of break, essentially, in the temperatures with cooler than average temperatures here over the next couple days. But summer heat will return next week with maybe a stray shower. That's why I kind of included that. But overall, we got lots of sunshine in store here over the next couple days. Excuse me. Temperatures. Wow. When we were looking at this yesterday, we had temperatures in the lower 90s here for the most part. And you remember those feels like temperatures were already in the low 100s. Today, much better. I will say the hottest spot is in Shreveport. Looks like 88 degrees. I'm guessing that's why they issued the heat advisory. The National Weather Service issued the heat advisories because it's already 88 today in Shreveport. And is still expected, technically speaking, to heat up here for the day today around there. But with the cloud cover, especially in the northern half of the Arklatex, we're still maintaining 70s, it looks like. And up in the Heidebel, Texarkana, and Magnolia here for the time being, which is nice. Feels like temperatures. Still getting into the low to mid 90s here for the day today. Now, those are expected to, again, be hot overall. Just not as hot as yesterday, and today is a progression day to get us to those cooler temperatures. We are on our way down. We are cooling off, yes, for today, even though you still call it a hot day, but especially tomorrow. Tomorrow I'd still call it a hot day, but it's even cooler than that of today. And if you don't feel it today, you'll technically feel it even more here for tomorrow. But essentially, here's what's happening. Cold front is coming on through to dip in those cooler than average temperatures, not just for one day here for today. And even then, I'd say today, I'd probably say the highs end up being almost around average, but especially, here for the weekend. Definitely cooler than average temperatures are expected for you then everywhere around the Arklatex for both for Saturday and Sunday. Once that sunshine gets up and gets working here for next work week, that's when the hot air then returns. But I'm trying to hype up these temperatures as much as I can. I have lots of graphics on these temperatures because I want you to look at this from kind of every perspective. First, there's the actual temperatures here for this afternoon, which only get up to 88 in Foreman, 91 in Texarkana. The high yesterday in Texarkana was 104. 104 yesterday afternoon in Texarkana. The point is we are dropping that temperature considerably here for this afternoon. And again, you're already seeing that with the actual temperature now only being in the upper 70s there. Meanwhile, a little hotter in eastern Texas and northwest Louisiana, mostly lower 90s, though. 91 in Shreveport, 95 is probably the hottest spot around Natchitoches here for this afternoon, which could still get a good amount of heat. Natchitoches is one of those, Natchitoches and Natchitoches Parish, overall, one of those areas that is under the heat advisory here for the day today. So the feels like temperature still could reach 100 degrees today. But, as I keep stressing, it is better than yesterday. We are progressing in the more comfortable and cooler direction. Especially because you remember the feels like temperatures yesterday? Those were reaching up to 110 to 120. But it feels like temperature of 113 yesterday during the noon show in Texarkana. So, again, going in the right direction. Then, for tomorrow afternoon, check this out. Upper 80s, lower 90s. So we're continuing to improve everything even more here for tomorrow by dropping the feels like temperatures by another 10 degrees or so for you then. And just so you know, feels like temperatures almost remain around that rate in the Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Here's what's happening. So we cool things off into Friday and Saturday. The actual heat is going away here for Friday and Saturday. But then the thing of the matter is Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday are still overall cooler than normal here for the most part. And most of that's because of this muggy meter. Now, we are still oppressive with the humidity here for today and tomorrow because of rain around. That's the whole reason that rain's here for the day today is because our muggy meter's still way up there. But then once we get into Sunday and completely drop off that rain chance, the humidity isn't off the charts. It's not even summer standards. I mean, just so you know, most of summer, that muggy meter pretty much stays in place in the oppressive category. So it is nice enough to see it go down considerably. It's not entirely comfortable, but it's at least a little drop in the humidity, which is going to thus make the feels like temperatures cool overall. Check this all out. I'm going to remove my face here for a second. Look at these feels like temperatures here for the afternoon. Today is looking to be the hottest day out of the next 5, and we have a feels like temperature around 100 degrees. That's going to be great. So again, feels like temperatures low to mid 90s, especially after today all the way through Monday. Again, Tuesday is really when we start to ramp up the summer heat once again, and I'm expecting those feels like temperatures definitely to get above 100 degrees once we get into Wednesday and Thursday of next week. But at least for the next 4 to 5 days, I think there's a reasonable feels like temperatures for us to hang around with. Much needed cool down, much needed salvation, so to speak. All right, so that was a look at, again, all of the temperature change here over the next couple of days. Let's go into, now, what we're expecting here out of the skies, which I don't know why we started out with just that little zoomed-in look, but that kind of goes to show you what's going on here right now, which is not a whole, on the grand scheme of things, if you really zoom out in this picture, there's not a whole lot of much to look at, which is good, mostly dry conditions, but if you look a little more closely, especially once we saw that Texarkana cam looking a little gloomy, looks like there is a brief little drizzle of a shower there. Looks like directly on the northeast corner of, I believe that's Cass County there. A little bit of areas south of Texarkana, essentially, moving southward. Looks like it's moving southward along I-49 on the trajectory right down into here. Most of this is just light drizzles at best, which is more than nothing, but it's nothing too much to worry about, so to speak. Not the heavy buckets of rain that we could get later on this afternoon. So let's check that out in one of our 2 future tracks. I have both future tracks here in this forecast, which have been continuously kind of showing different things. Both of them kind of showed storms for yesterday, which happened and were legitimate. They gave us good windy gusts that provided some power outages here for us yesterday. But a little bit of a difference, especially once with the models that happened this morning, on what's going on with the rain here over the next 2 days. Again, that's what we're expecting here over the next 2 days is storms here for this afternoon and this afternoon. Storms pop up in the afternoon. We might even have a round coming in from eastern Oklahoma and western Arkansas, dipping down southward in areas north of I-30 here for the afternoon. A couple pop-up storms still possible anywhere else around the Arklatex here for the afternoon hours. And that's going to continue to dip on southward and into the evening hours. Looks like things start to fizzle out here for the most part by the late night, but still a good amount of storm coverage here around 7, 8 o'clock before finally most of the rain. Well, there could be some lingering rain showers even into the overnight hours, it looks like. So just got to watch out for a couple of isolated storms still hanging around. That's Friday. That's Friday's round. Then we get into Saturday, and most of the issues appear to be in the southern half of the Arklatex. I think for the northern half of the Arklatex, Texarkana, you were done after today. Just one more round of rain here for the day today before we get more storms, essentially along and south of the I-20 corridor here for your Saturday. And that'll be something to watch out for, especially somewhere around midday tomorrow, and that could carry us into the afternoon as well. So that's a look at one future track. Well, let me show you the rest of this future track, which essentially is nothing much. Again, Sunday is completely dry. That tail end of the forecast or tail end of the future track kind of just asserts that there for you. Then for the future track, I went over that way too quickly, but for the future track for this one, a couple pop-up storms again in the afternoon and evening hours, and this could happen anywhere around the Arklatex. Looks like this model isn't as impressed with what's going to happen here for tonight, but a couple lingering storms like the last one. A couple lingering storms into the late night and overnight hours, Friday into Saturday. It could be dealing with some storms here for Saturday morning before, again, that storm coverage definitely looks like it hits areas south of I-20 there for tomorrow afternoon. That's pretty similar to the last future track that we just saw. So essentially, any chance of storms here across the entire region here for today, specifically this afternoon and evening. And then once we get into tomorrow, especially tomorrow afternoon, it looks like most of the storms are just south of I-20. And then all of us dry out, definitely by Sunday. Do want to keep you first alert. This is the only thing severe-wise that we need to watch out for with these storms here for today. There is no the wind risk is pretty much dropped off with the storms here for the day today, which is good. But we've now issued, looks like a tiny slight risk of flash flooding, which is slightly upgraded from the storms of yesterday. Essentially just a greater chance of rainfall, greater chance of storms staying in place. It's essentially in effect for some of those storms that could be hitting Mount Pleasant, Longview area here for the day today, the western edge of the Arklatex in East Texas. The rest of us still have a marginal slim risk of flash flooding here from the storms that are rolling on through here for tonight. So essentially what that means, just watch out for some street flooding. Whenever you're traveling around here for your Friday night, maybe give yourself some extra time on your commute, especially if you see that it's going to be raining a little closer to the time that you're traveling out and around here for tonight. Some of this could linger into tomorrow as well in the southern half of the Arklatex here for your Saturday in the process as well. So don't forget the rain gear. Just keep yourself weather aware over the next 2 days with rain around. But hey, the rain is helping to usher in those cooler than average temperatures, just like Sunday. That's going to be nice, especially once we get that sun back out. Here's a full 7-day forecast. There is a stray chance of rain technically next week, but overall, I'm expecting a mostly dry work week and a completely dry Sunday definitely here for you. Highs below average for the next 4 days. We're either in the upper 80s or lower 90s all the way through Monday. Again, the heat drops off over the next 2 days. The humidity especially drops off here for Sunday and Monday a good bit before both return into the middle of next week. You see a high of 99 on Thursday. Again, yes, this is not something that's going to be forever where we have high temperatures that are below average and cooler than average, but we will take the amount of time that we have with it and certainly enjoy it before this time next week on the podcast. Our next podcast is on Monday. We are certainly going to be talking about just the heat up and saying goodbye to those cooler temperatures around. So, yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching the full local forecast. Again, any questions? That's what our YouTube stream is there for. All right. We're not done yet, though. When we come back, we're going to go over a quick regional travel forecast for, say, Dallas, New Orleans, Houston, Little Rock, Jackson, Monroe, those kind of areas. If you're traveling outside of the Arklatex this weekend, I'm essentially broadening my forecast area, so to speak, for you. We'll go into a forecast for traveling outside of the Arklatex coming up next. Hey, welcome on back to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Again, I'm meteorologist Evan Thompson. Thank you for joining me on this Friday, where we're continuing to hype up so much here across the region over the next couple of days. Now, anytime we have a chance of rain here locally, we usually have a chance of rain here regionally, meaning it affects other areas around us outside of the Arklatex here, especially since we have storms for both today and tomorrow in Shreveport. We're probably going to be examining storms elsewhere around the region, especially because that cold front is affecting other areas of the United States as well, including other areas regionally. Let's get a full look at it. Here's a look at what's going on across the regional radar. Again, lots of cloud cover all around the region. Kind of see that front. Again, it's especially going to amplify some storms here for this afternoon thanks to daytime heating again. But essentially, lots of cloud cover pretty much across most areas of Texas. Some of the areas of, I think I overheard some areas of flash flooding in New Mexico. I know that's way out to the west, but essentially we got storms pretty much all around us here for the most part. You go westward into Dallas, you go even northward into Little Rock, maybe some chances of storms there. I think the only areas that I really don't see cloud cover here this morning are out towards New Orleans and way off to our southeast. But even then, I'm seeing even right behind my camera, even a few storms popping up in spots like the Florida beach coastline there, specifically the Florida Panhandle near Pensacola. So let's take a look at this on the radar here. Again, look at the amount of coastal storms here right now that looks like we're watching out for. Just off the coastline of, say, Houston, even though some of this looks like it's actually getting on shore. This is, again, the current radar. Even a few 1-2 pop-up storms showing up near New Orleans as well. There's the storm coverage that we're watching out for so far. Eastern Oklahoma, western Arkansas. Even got some storms look like they're headed into the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area for later on this afternoon, too. So let's check this all out on our future track, shall we? So here for this afternoon, we're watching out for that cold front setting up shop. That's kind of what it looks like. Huge, long line. That's essentially all the way to the Carolinas, through Georgia, through Alabama, through Mississippi, even a couple storms that we're dealing with in Louisiana, too, especially into the areas in New Orleans. Dallas is getting rain, looks like here for this afternoon and evening. It looks like the only areas that might be clear from this are Little Rock, potentially. Then we go into tomorrow morning. We start out with a couple chances for some storms there in the Arklatex. Even a couple coastal showers looks like could be extended into Lake Charles and New Orleans there for Saturday morning. Then for Saturday afternoon, when these storms start to spread a lot more, it looks like that cold front is approaching the coastline. I don't think the cold front reaches it, as in like the cool temperatures reach New Orleans. I don't think they will. But the rain certainly will. Looking like a rainy day here for your Saturday across Houston, New Orleans, and out towards Jackson with a little chance of rain south of I-20 here locally in the Arklatex here for your Saturday afternoon while we clear out Dallas and Little Rock. So looks like if you're either west or north of here, you're looking like you're going to have a pretty good weekend here for the most part. Sunday looks like there's a little chance for maybe some storms close to Dallas in the afternoon hours with more coastal storms on course right on top of New Orleans here for the weekend. So New Orleans probably the worst spot to be quite frank with you. It looks like the best spots are out towards Dallas with the exception of today. It looks like today Dallas could catch on some rainy storms. And looks like Little Rock is also a big winner with a good amount of storms heading out towards Mississippi. Heading into early next week, looks like most of the rain holds off to our east and south of here, meaning outside of the Arklatex, east and south here. But if you're still lingering early next week into Mississippi or southern Louisiana, could still be dealing with some storm troubles almost stuck in place down there. I think there's some bad rain totals expected out of the next couple days towards Georgia and the Carolinas from that front kind of stalling out, but obviously that's way off to our east. So current conditions, nobody directly is getting rained under here for the moment, but it's still up to 90 degrees in New Orleans. Behind the cold front, 79 right now in Little Rock. That's got to be nice here for right now. As for high temperatures, most of us are sitting tight in the 80s. New Orleans certainly getting above 90 degrees. Looks like their temperature levels out, though, once the rain comes in. So rain expected for Dallas today, also New Orleans and Jackson as well, essentially way off to our east or way off directly to our west. That includes chances of storms here in the Arklatex. But it looks like if you're either south of here, meaning southwest of here, out towards Houston, you're fine. Also, Little Rock looks to be mostly fine. Maybe a little chance of rain for Little Rock here for this afternoon. And once you get into Saturday, looks like storms continue in those same kind of areas. Little Rock definitely drawing things out, and so is Monroe, and maybe I thought we saw kind of a little chance of storms there for Houston. Highs mostly in the upper 80s, lower 90s. Again, this is a region-wide thing. Remember from like last weekend, we were all talking about highs getting up into the upper 90s for like everybody around the region. Lastly, Sunday, looks like storms still linger in New Orleans, so it is going to be a rainy weekend down in the Big Easy if you're going down there here for this weekend. But the rest of us appear to be drying out just fine, with highs mostly in the lower 90s. All right, that was your regional travel forecast. We went over your local forecasts. We got the agenda here done here for the day today. That is the end of First Alert with a Breakdown. Thank you very much for joining us. Very much. Check our YouTube stream. A. Carroll says, Happy Friday. Happy Friday indeed to you, A. Carroll. Oh, cheers. Cheers to you after after the show ends. Definitely after the shift ends, get myself maybe a little more legitimate drink. But anyways, the point is, we're having a great Friday here for the day today. Happy Friday to you, A. Carroll, and happy Friday to everybody watching here at home. Thank you again for watching the First Alert with a Breakdown. Enjoy it. I enjoy it thoroughly each and every single week. Thank you for the completion of another week of the First Alert with a Breakdown. We'll be back again next week. I believe CJ will be your host back again on Monday. Again, we do not have episodes over the weekend, but I do want to mention real quick, if you don't want to see me in person, I will be out in person at the, I know KSLA has been hyping this up, and we're trying to hype this up together as a unit. The big health event. That'll be on tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Shreveport Convention Center. Lots of great health info, lots of great health screenings for free as well. Free. I like free stuff anytime. I will be there. The point is I will be there, especially the first part of the event. I will be there for tomorrow. Again, from 10. The event itself goes from 10 to 3 p.m. I will not be sticking around until 3 p.m., but I will be sticking around for at least for the first half of it. Feel free to swing on by. Come say hi. I'll be out and around. Feel free to take photos. Whatever. I enjoy y'all. Definitely. Cheers to the weekend. Cheers to cooler temperatures as well. Oh, man, nice to see highs way cooler than average for the first time in what feels like forever. Anyways, thank you very much for First Alert with a Breakdown this whole week. meteorologist CJ Cartledge will probably see you guys on Monday at 10:30. Yeah, be there. Be square. Most importantly, be weather aware, especially with the rain around over the next 2 days. But hey, enjoy those cooler temperatures. Have a great, fantastic weekend. See y'all later.